Hello and welcome. You're watching NDTV 24/7. I'm Osama Shab. Our top story today, the cabinet portfolios are out and it is a message of continuity in Modi's third term. Prime Minister Modi has retained top 4 ministers at the top post. Amit Shah has retained Home Ministry. Rajnath Singh, he gets defense yet again. S. Jaishankar will continue to be the External Affairs Minister, while Nirmala Sitharaman will once again be the Finance Minister in the Modi government. MP's election hero for the BJP, Shivraj Singh Chauhan, has been made the Agriculture Minister, while ML Khattar gets Power Ministry. My colleague Mario Shakil breaks it down for us, but before that, let's listen into some of the political reactions.
10 साल में भी बेहतर काम किया है और अपने संकल्प पत्र में हमने किसान कल्याण हो या रूरल डेवलपमेंट हो, ग्रामीण विकास हो, उसके बारे में अपना रोड मैप बना के दिया है। हम इन्हीं कामों को आगे बढ़ाएंगे।
प्रधानमंत्री जी के द्वारा जो भी जिम्मेदारी मुझे दी गई है और ये एक ऐसे विभाग की जिम्मेदारी मुझे दी गई है जिसकी चर्चा मैंने मेरे विजन डॉक्यूमेंट में हमेशा की थी। मैंने बिहार फर्स्ट, बिहारी फर्स्ट में जो मेरा विजन है उसमें मैंने हमेशा इस बात का मैंने जिक्र किया था कि प्रोसेसिंग यूनिट्स जब तक हमारे प्रदेश में नहीं लगेंगे, खैर अब तो खैर देश भर की ये बात है, देश भर में जब तक नहीं लगेंगे तब तक हम लोग सही मायनों में जो उत्पादन हमारे किसान करते हैं उसकी सही कीमत उनको नहीं मिलेगी।
अगले दिनों में परम आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में हम इस मंत्रालय को आगे बढ़ाने का काम करेंगे। देश की अर्थव्यवस्था को मजबूत बनाने के सिलसिले में हमारा मंत्रालय जिस हिसाब से अपने भूमिका पालन कर रहा है उसी हिसाब से अगले दिनों में और भी तेज से अपना भूमिका निष्ठापूर्वक पालन करेंगे।
So the much awaited portfolio list of the new Modi government is out, and the Prime Minister sending 3 important messages. First, continuity and his trust and experience, and also accommodation for allies. So the 4 key portfolios which form the Raisina Hills portfolios and also the Cabinet Committee of Security Affairs are, all those 4 ministers are continuing. So Rajnath Singh continues as Defence Minister, Amit Shah continues as Home Minister, Nirmala Sitharaman as Finance Minister, and also Dr. Jaishankar as the External Affairs Minister. So after that, which are the key portfolios which the Prime Minister is signaling that he would want the work to continue, and that is the reason why I would say that be it road and transport or infra portfolios, there is only continuity. The big leg up that has been given is for Ashwini Vaishnav, who continues as the Railways Minister but has been given additional responsibility of information and broadcasting, then the other portfolio of road and surface transport, Nitin Gadkari is continuing to hold that portfolio. Now looking at the responsibility which has been given to 2 former Chief Ministers. So Shivraj Singh Chauhan, former Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister who has served the state for good 20 years, is now becoming a Union Cabinet Minister in charge of agriculture and also rural development. The message here certainly is that Mr. Chauhan has the ability to handle farmer crisis. He did so when he handled the entire crisis post the violence and protests in Mandsaur in Madhya Pradesh. Then you have an important role that has been given to Manohar Lal Khattar as well, who is returning as Minister of Housing and Urban Affairs and also Ministry of Power. Now looking at the alliance partners, there is a bit of continuity for TDP, I would say, because, Shri Ram Mohan Naidu has got the civil aviation portfolio. This was held by the TDP also in 2014 until it walked out of the alliance in 2018. So civil aviation portfolio going back to TDP. Now looking at other alliance partners, be it in Lalan Singh, who is from the JDU, the former JDU chief. He is getting Ministry of Panchayati Raj, Fisheries, Animal Husbandry, not really seen as a heavyweight portfolio. But Chirag Paswan is going to be a part of a ministry which was held by his father in the past, which is Minister of Food, food processing and industries. In terms of shift, I would say the critical shift would be of Kiren Rijiju, who has now to manage the various allies and also the floor management which will be needed in the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, keeping in mind that you have a very, very strong opposition in terms of their numerical strength. So Kiren Rijiju is now the Minister of Parliamentary Affairs, and the second woman besides Nirmala Sitharaman, that is Annapurna Devi, has got Ministry of Women and Child Development. But Jyotiraditya Scindia has moved to Ministry of Communications. Bhupendra Yadav and say Dharmendra Pradhan, even Piyush Goyal, all of them are continuing in their old portfolios. So is Sarbanan Sonowal. So not much of a surprise, I would say. Continuity being the key message, and also sending a message that they have tried to accommodate the aspirations of various regional players who form the new NDA government under Prime Minister Modi.
RJD leader and the former Deputy Chief Minister of Bihar, Tejasvi Yadav, takes a dig at the Bihar ministers in the cabinet and says that no big ministry have been allotted to Bihar leaders. Jitan Ram Manjhi, on the other hand, gets MSME, while Lalan Singh, he got Panchayati Raj and Animal Husbandry.
देखिए, अब तीसरी बार शपथ लिया है, लेकिन इस बार का जो विपक्ष है बहुत ही मजबूत विपक्ष है, और इस बार मोदी जी चाहे इधर उधर बोल करके अब निकल नहीं सकते, क्योंकि जो विपक्ष जो है इतना मजबूत है, तो मेरे ख्याल से ज़्यादा सीटों का अंतर नहीं है, और इस बार भाजपा जो है खुद जो है बहुमत पार नहीं कर पाई है
कि वो सबको संतुष्ट करना चाहते हैं। उनको इस बात का डर है कि जो उनके सहयोगी है या जो उनके गठबंधन के लोग हैं वो उनको संतुष्ट करना बहुत ज़रूरी है। दूसरा ये कि जहाँ तक बिहार का सवाल है, बिहार के लोगों को ये उम्मीद थी कि रेलवे इस बार बिहार को मिलेगा, क्योंकि अक्सर रेलवे मंत्रालय जो है वो बिहार ने संभाला है या बिहार के लोगों ने संभाला और लेकिन जिस तरह से मेरा ख्याल है कि पूरे बिहार को इग्नोर किया गया, कोई भी अच्छा पोर्टफोलियो जिसको हम कह सकते हैं जो जिससे बिहार को फ़ायदा होता है, बिहार के लोगों को फ़ायदा होता, वैसा कोई भी पोर्टफोलियो नहीं दिया गया है।
The central government has released over 1,39,000 crore rupees installment of tax devolution to different states. With Monday's release, a total of over 2,79,000 crore rupees devolved to states for the financial year 2024-25 till 10th of June 2024. Uttar Pradesh is the biggest beneficiary as it gets the biggest amount. My colleague Vasudha Venugopal gets us the details.
This is coming just hours after, of course, the cabinet portfolios have been sort of like, announced, and Nirmala Sitharaman is, of course, the finance minister. Tax devolution is something that had become political in the run-up to the 2024 Lok Sabha elections, with several opposition rule states pointing out, alleging that the centre is sort of indulging in fiscal injustice and favoring, states with a BJP chief minister. But clearly, the government has now sort of released to almost over 2,70,000 crore as part of tax devolution to states, and this is one way of the government on the first day of Modi 3.0 doing this. This is a message that the centre and the finance ministry deeply believe in federalism. That's the message that they want to send out, and there are deep political undertones to this, because economy was the central point of the Lok Sabha campaign that happened, and all southern states had also gotten together to complain that there was some sort of injustice and discrimination when it came to tax devolution. But I think the government wants to sort of dismiss and dispel those narratives, and also wants to sort of start everything on a fresh note, and that is why I think this important decision has been made today. Of course, Finance Ministry, led by Nirmala Sitharaman, yet again has once again, of course, has tweeted this, made this important point, and that's what this move to release the funds that are due to the states was done by the centre. It could have been done a few days later as well, but doing it now, I think is one way of the government sending out this message that while it started with farmers' interest by the Prime Minister signing his first file in his third term on the PM Kisan Samman Nidhi, and then the second
Right.
one on increasing households for 3 crore, urban
Right.
households, and now, of course, this important thing on increasing federalism, spirit of federalism in the country.
TDP chief Chandrababu Naidu will return as the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh after his party returned to power with a roaring majority in the assembly elections. Chandrababu Naidu will take oath for the 4th time as the Chief Minister on 12th of June. Here's a report.
मैं नरेंद्र दामोदर दास मोदी
After the mega Modi swearing in, it's time for Chandrababu Naidu's oath as Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister. The CM designate, Mr. Chandrababu Naidu, will be sworn in at 11:27 a.m. on June 12 near the Kesarpalli IT Park at Gannavaram in the Krishna district. Over a lakh TDP, Jan Sena Party and BJP supporters are expected to attend the mega swearing-in ceremony. Winning 164 out of 175 assembly seats, the TDP-led coalition with the JSP and the BJP clocked a landslide victory, decimating Jagan Reddy's YSRCP.
Telugu Desam Party earlier planned to hold the swearing-in ceremony of N. Chandrababu Naidu at Amravati, but as the number of leaders are expected from the Bharatiya Janata Party, including Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the Telugu Desam Party selected this venue just near the Gannavaram airport.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi and other VVIPs will be in attendance at the mega event. The security apparatus has been busy planning for the mega event and to preempt any trouble on the big day.
Around 7,500 personnel are being deployed at the leadership of DG himself. So we are ensuring that there is no problem in the security in that day. So we are ensuring all types of, because here we are involving SPG protected and NSG protected minimum are coming over here. So the precautions and security arrangements are all time high. So all kind of anti-national element, terrorists and everything already under our check. We have ensured a fuel-proof bandobast so that there is no security concern for any of the VIPs or there is no major disturbance for the public. We have designed and planned it accordingly.
Chandrababu Naidu has urged party members to maintain restraint and calm. Security has also been beefed up.
The intelligence reports have suggested that there might be clashes between the YSRCP supporters and the Bharatiya Janata Party, TDP and Jan Sena supporters on the day when Chandrababu Naidu will be taking oath. For that, senior police officials from Delhi and Andhra Pradesh have arrived over here for preparing of the multi-layer security. This is Ashwarajan with Viril Sheikh Momin for NDTV in Vijayawada.
After a resounding victory of the DMK in Tamil Nadu, Chief Minister M.K. Stalin has announced the appointment of Kanimozhi at the head of the DMK Parliamentary Committee for both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Apart from her, T.R. Balu is now DMK's parliamentary party leader in Lok Sabha and Trichy Shiva in Rajya Sabha. So it is a big elevation for Kanimozhi, who, remember, is a 2-time Lok Sabha MP and a 2-time Rajya Sabha MP. My colleague Sam Daniel gets us the details. Welcome back. Sources have confirmed that 3 foreign terrorists were involved in the Riyasi terror attack and US-made M4 rifles were used. My colleague Nazir Masoodi gets us this report. Pilgrims targeted by Pakistan-backed terrorists in Jammu and Kashmir. Terrorists fired on the bus carrying pilgrims. The bus fell into a gorge in the middle of the dense forests of Pir Panjal. 3 foreign terrorists are believed to be involved in the attack. They have used US-made M4 carbine in the targeted attack on Yatris. The youngest victim among 9 people killed in the attack is just a 2-year-old toddler. Jammu and Kashmir Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha says Prime Minister is personally monitoring situation and that the attack on Yatris was aimed at causing turmoil in Jammu.
ये हम देश को आश्वस्त करना चाहते हैं। कल से माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी और गृहमंत्री जी भी मामले पर नजर बनाए हुए हैं। उनसे भी बात हुई। वो लोग भी जिम्मेदार हैं, उन्हें बख्शा नहीं जाएगा। एक नापाक कोशिश हुई है कि जम्मू रीजन को भी किसी तरीके से टर्मोइल में लाया जाए।
Over 40 Yatris travelling in a bus were on the way to Katra, the base camp for Mata Vaishno Devi on Trikota Hills. This is the second attack on Yatris in Riyasi district of Jammu in the last 2 years.
In May 2022, 4 Vaishno Devi pilgrims were killed and 20 others were injured in a sticky bomb attack. Near the attack site, shops were closed and locals staged protests against the terror attack on Yatris and frequent terrorist incidents in the region that was almost free from militancy till few years ago.
ये जो वारदात हुई है, ये लैक ऑफ कोऑर्डिनेशन की वजह से हुई है। अगर कोऑर्डिनेशन फोर्सेस और आर्मी के और पुलिस के बीच में होती और ये इतनी बड़ी वारदात ना होती, और ये पहली वारदात नहीं है।
जो सारा ये जो प्रोटेस्ट हो रहा है, इसकी एक ही वजह है कि 50 किलोमीटर के रेडियस तक जहाँ पर कोई सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस का बंदा नहीं है, जहाँ पर कोई सिक्योरिटी आर्मी, सीआरपी, पैरामिलिट्री का कोई ऐसा बंदा नहीं है जो कि हमें सुरक्षा दे पाए।
Attack on Yatra bus here in Riyasi is yet another chilling reminder. Jammu is high on terror radar, and it appears that the theatre of militancy is largely shifted from the plains of the valley to mountains of Pir Panjal. Since October 2021, 39 soldiers and 20 civilians have been killed in multiple attacks in this region.
After Rajouri and Poonch districts, terror has cast its shadow on Riyasi and Udhampur districts. The terror attacks in the last 3 years have made the region biggest security challenge. 39 soldiers and at least 20 civilians have been killed since October 2021 in the area. The latest is this attack, which left 9 pilgrims dead. On 21st December 2023, an army vehicle was ambushed in which 4 soldiers were killed. In November-December 2023, there were 2 attacks on army in Poonch within a month. In November of the same year, 5 soldiers, including 2 captains, were killed in ambush. In April and May 2023, 10 soldiers were killed in twin terror attacks. In 2023, 18 personnel lost their lives in 5 terror incidents. There have been frequent encounters in the area since 2021. 39 soldiers have been killed since 2021 in the region. In May 2022, 4 pilgrims were killed in an attack on a bus. At least 20 civilians have been killed since 2021 in targeted attacks. In January this year, Army Chief called the Rajouri situation a matter of concern. On the 4th of May 2024, an Air Force vehicle was attacked in Poonch, in which 1 soldier was killed and 5 were injured. Sources say 3 foreign terrorist groups who appear to be trained in jungle warfare are operating in the region. The worry is that they have often managed to get away after carrying out major attacks on army and civilians. With Nazir Masoodi in Riyasi, Jammu and Kashmir. Bureau Report, NDTV.
The death by suspected suicide of a Karnataka government officer has drawn attention to a rupees 94 crore scam in the tribal corporation, leading to the resignation of a Congress minister on Friday. Now another minister has come under the scanner. Pratibha Raman has the details.
Karnataka's Medical Education Minister, Sharan Prakash Patil, has some explaining to do now after an accused in a 94 crore rupees scam in Karnataka's Tribal Welfare Department said a conspiracy to destroy evidence in the case was hatched at Patil's office on the 24th of May. Already, Karnataka's Tribal Welfare Minister B. Nagendra has resigned following the financial scam in the Karnataka Valmiki Development Corporation.
First of all, ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಮಗೂ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಂದು ವಿಕಾಸ್ ಸೌಧದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಕಚೇರಿ ಅದು ಗವರ್ನಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫೀಸ್. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ, ಶಾಸಕರು ಬರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕುಳಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ. ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇದ್ದಾಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಅನೇಕ ಜನ ಶಾಸಕರು ಬರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ, ಕೂಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನನಗೂ ಅದಕ್ಕೇನು ಸಂಬಂಧ ಇಲ್ಲ.
On May 26th, a superintendent at the Valmiki department died by suspected suicide. A 6-page note he reportedly left highlights irregularities and illegal transactions in the department. On May 29th, A. Rajashekar, managing director of the corporation, filed a complaint that 94.73 crore rupees money was illegally siphoned off their account. An audio clip surfaced as well, where a suspect is heard referring to a minister who is aware of the transactions. The SIT formed to investigate this scam arrested 5 people, 2 bank officials and 3 government officers. The CBI also booked a case based on the complaint filed by a Union Bank of India official. The BJP says the Chief Minister is answerable.
ಮಾನ್ಯ ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳೇ ಇದು ಹಣಕಾಸಿನ ಒಂದು ಇಲಾಖೆಯನ್ನ ನಿರ್ವಹಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂತ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳ ಗಮನಕ್ಕೆ ಬರ್ದೇನೆ ಈ ಒಂದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಹಗರಣ ನಡೆಯೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಕೇವಲ ಸಚಿವರ ರಾಜೀನಾಮೆ ಪಡೆದುಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ನ್ಯಾಯ ಸಿಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳು ಸಹ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ನೇರ ಹೊಣೆಗಾರರಾಗ್ತಾರೆ.
In 2023, the Congress stormed to power in Karnataka by campaigning against corruption. 1 year later, the party is fighting a multi-crore scam that has led to the resignation of its first minister. With camera persons Kumar and Govind, Pratibha Raman in Bengaluru for NDTV.